Gold Squad TV. We back, bitches. 2 days, took a couple of days off to kind of relax, charge the battery. Not a lot of sports things going on outside the playoffs. Um, but I want to kind of discuss something I seen on Microphones football channel, and he brought up that the Le'Veon Bell, former Pittsburgh Steeler, great, and New York Jets running back, and Kansas City running back, kind of went in. He really went in on Andy Reid over the weekend, saying that he would never play for Andy Reid again. Um, he didn't get a lot of playing time last year with Kansas City. He still has a lot left in the tank. Um, however, um, he was very upset about the playing time he didn't get in Kansas City, and really just kind of went in on Andy Reid. You know what I mean? He had a right to go in on Andy Reid because he was more talented than the other running backs on that team, and for him not to get only a small amount of playing time, it's kind of ridiculous. That said, Tyrann Mathieu such since um, kind of blasted Le'Veon and basically said that he's basically saying these dudes blame coaches for why they don't end up being successful. It's easy for Tyrann Mathieu to say that because you're playing a position that age doesn't really matter in the position he plays. He plays strong safety. Not many strong safeties retire early. I mean, let's really be honest. Tyrann Mathieu, about to be 30 years old, he could play another 5 to 10 years in the league and win more Super Bowls or be a part of more teams that end up going to the Super Bowl. And no one's gonna look at Honey Badger and be like, "Yo, your career's over and you're washed." When Microphone said that Le'Veon Bell was wrong for going at Andy Reid and he's burning bridges everywhere, and here's why I disagree. Because for one, Microphone didn't read the message very well when it came down to the tweets. Bell did apologize, but he didn't apologize for what he said. He just apologized for putting it on social media. So, yeah, that's probably stuff you keep to yourselves and defense the Microphone. Yeah, probably should have kept it to himself in that situation. But to go and say, well, since Andy Reid's he's always been a player's coach, he's beloved around the league, that's a way to go and blame Le'Veon Bell and make it seem like Le'Veon Bell's a head case and can't stay anywhere. Le'Veon Bell's gonna do what Le'Veon Bell needs to do to stay or to even just be where he's at. I don't blame Le'Veon Bell at all. Get your money, man. Go out for self. You're a running back. When I say this, it's a team game, yes. But running backs are so devalued in today's NFL. By the time you're 25, 26, they're ready to kick you out the league. Le'Veon Bell wasn't going to let them dudes tell him they were going to let him tell him he's washed up, whatever. He'd rather burn the bridges and he'd rather, risk not being a good teammate. And I say, quote unquote, in an NFL game that they say, let's be good teammates until they cut you. They'll cut you and leave you dead on the streets, basically, especially if you're a running back. And to say that he's burning bridges is crazy. I mean, he ain't burned no bridge. He spoke his mind based on something that Andy Reid said. He said Andy Reid told him something. Now he didn't disclose it. He doesn't have to disclose it. That's not for public consumption. Although he did make it public. What I don't like is Tyrann Mathieu going at Le'Veon Bell and Microphone going at Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell wasn't the problem. Le'Veon Bell has to go out for himself. He plays a position in this league where they'll tell you after 3 or 4 years, you have no worth and get the hell out of my team. Le'Veon Bell's got to do what he needs to do to make as much money as possible. This is a business. And the NFL will cut you and throw you on the street in a heartbeat. Trying to tell Le'Veon Bell he needs to be a good teammate, it's ridiculous to me. It's ridiculous to me. He should look out for himself. That man is a running back in a league that don't value his position. He should go out for self. So no, microphone, you're wrong for what you're saying. You're just trying to defend Andy Reid because it's the sheep thing to do. And it's not to say Andy Reid's a bad coach, but don't give me his reputation as a way to sit there and trash Le'Veon Bell and say that Le'Veon Bell is the problem. Le'Veon Bell's got to do what Le'Veon Bell does. I agree with what Le'Veon Bell's done with his career. You gonna bet on yourself? Bet on yourself. Don't worry about what that dude's doing. I'm pretty sure he saved his money. He seems very smart. I'm pretty sure he saved all his money. And he's not out here wilding out. He also raps on the side. So don't worry about what he's doing. That said, him going at Andy Reid, you just said, I don't think it's a bad look at all. He spoke his mind. What do you want him to do? The only thing I didn't like was the fact that he put it on social media. But other than that, if the dude said something to Le'Veon Bell should have every right to respond and speak his mind. So if you don't want to play for Andy Reid anymore, that shouldn't be a reputation thing. And if the league's looking to blackball him because he had a problem with Andy Reid, I mean, sure, Le'Veon Bell's not losing sleep. There are so many other avenues for him to succeed. Especially a lot of retired football players. What do you think? If he retires, what do you think is going to happen? You don't think he's going to go and land on a podcast or do something special or be on one of these shows on Showtime or HBO that talk about football? Le'Veon Bell will be fine. Go Squad TV. That's my response to this. Shouts to Le'Veon Bell. Go for self, bro. Hey, this league, you need to be yourself. That you need to go out for you. You're a running back. Don't let these fools try to tell you otherwise. Go Squad TV.